Todd, you seem unusually excited about the film we're going to discuss.
You should too. We're here to talk about not just any Star Wars film. We're here to talk about the 1977 classic, the original Star Wars film, on this episode of A Second Look.
You do realize we're in the junkyard space, right?
Oh, crap. Are we talking about like The Phantom Menace?
Guess again.
Attack of the Clones.
Wrong.
You son of a bitch. You motherfucker! Well, obviously we're in the junkyard and we're talking about a movie I really don't want to talk about.
So why are we talking about this?
Well, I think we're talking about it because you tricked me into thinking that this was about a good Star Wars movie, only to find out it's one of the pieces of shit.
Do you think this is the worst of these Star Wars films?
It's the worst of these Star Wars films, and I'm going to go a little further. I think this might be one of the worst films of the 2010s.
That's a bold statement, because there's a lot of bad films in the 2010s.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
The way that like corporate film developed like in the 2010s, especially like with the blockbuster and the IP genre.
And would you actually say nothing says corporation more than Disney and the Star Wars franchise? That was a machine that just said, okay, not only are we going to do a new trilogy, but we're going to do a bunch of other spin-offs, and we're just, this is a money-making machine.
How did a money-making machine so thoroughly drop the ball? Well, I mean, going back to Lucas, he had his own failures with the prequels, which is why he had to sell the franchise to Disney in the first place. So what we're talking about basically is one man's creative failure versus a corporate failure.
Yes. The corporate failure, I think, is huge because I can't believe they couldn't have said, this is the 3-movie arc. We're going to do this. It's going to be kind of a rehash. Yes, it's going to introduce the new characters, but also have some of the old characters.
Which is what the audience thought.
And that was great.
Yeah.
But this is where it's going to go. It has to go here in the second film. And then it must go here in the third film.
But nope.
Nope. It seemed mostly just to be mismanagement.
That's the most mind-boggling thing about this. There was no story plan, which makes no sense because Disney had that plan with Kevin Feige and Marvel. Is it necessarily Kathleen Kennedy's fault?
People saw The Force Awakens and they were like, yeah, kind of a rehash, but I like it.
It's another Death Star.
Okay, how do we blow it up? There's always a way to do that.
Han's right.
It was great seeing Luke Skywalker at the end. It was exciting, and it was, by the way. When we got to see Luke Skywalker,
yeah, you know, because as terrible as that film is in retrospect, it was exciting at the time because it got back to the aesthetic of the original film.
Absolutely, the original cast was there. You had the droids.
Carrie Fisher is like phoning it in that entire movie.
She was fine. At the same time, it passed the torch to a new cast, and so you were kind of like, all right, I'll take this. It's also It's also a rehash. So for you nostalgia
rehash,
for you nostalgia fans, here you go.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
But then Last Jedi comes along. As a self-contained movie, I liked it.
What's interesting about The Last Jedi is that it wants to subvert the nostalgia fest of The Force Awakens.
Okay.
And it does that to a certain point in the film, and then it gives up. And it goes back to like the status quo.
Well, I would say this is the first failure of the trilogy. I'm not saying the first movie was successful or perfectly written. It wasn't.
Well, it was hugely successful in the box office.
Okay, what I mean is, as a creative project, it was good, but it wasn't great. What mattered is how you take that into The Last Jedi. And then from Last Jedi, how do you take that into the third movie? They introduced things in The Force Awakens like the lightsaber scene where that character goes,
A good question for another time.
well, guess what? We never, ever hear about Luke Skywalker's blue lightsaber being found and how that's a story for another time. They never go back to that.
We know now that's J.J. Abrams' modus operandi. He sets up mystery boxes with no intention of actually following through.
Or maybe he did, but then unfortunately there was
Well, if he did, he would have explained that in the Rise of Skywalker.
No, wrong. He would have had notes, and they would have agreed that the second movie would have certain story beats that would take over what was introduced in the first movie. It's not just Abrams' fault. It's the entire corporate structure. Yeah. Where was Disney leadership? Why wasn't who was the director of Last Jedi?
Rian Johnson.
Why wasn't Rian Johnson and Abrams getting together and planning the transition from movie 1 to movie 2?
Apparently they did. It did not lead to any sort of cohesive story in between like the three films. But we have to explain why there was such a backlash to the Last Jedi.
The backlash was that fans, hated the fact that Rian had chosen to make Luke seem, I mean, you could argue kind of weak.
He was a quitter.
He was a quitter. He wasn't a hero.
Yeah. I think the problem with that is like many kids as we are that grew up with Star Wars.
Yeah.
We had our own minds throughout the years of like what Luke Skywalker became.
I agree.
And it wasn't that.
But I didn't mind the movie when I saw it in the theater. I actually thought it was kind of creative.
Yeah.
To twist things up, to mix things up in a way like that. In other words, if he was just a hero, like, I'm ready to be a hero again. Thanks for finding me. Now, let's kick some ass.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
It's kind of dull.
Well, it doesn't work with the setup in The Force Awakens.
Okay, Luke's in hiding. Why is he in hiding? He's in hiding because he feels like he failed as a leader.
This is what I agree with people that don't like it. It's like, is that the same character that we saw that was like convincing Han to like join the rebellion?
Why don't you take a look around? You know what's about to happen, what they're up against. They could use a good pilot like you. You're turning your back on them.
Right.
Is that the same character? Not really.
That's fair, but he's also like, what, 30 years older?
But why is he giving up?
You're his granddaughter. You are a Palpatine.
So, that brings us to the Rise of Skywalker.
Right. The movie we're supposed to talk about.
That's why we're here, actually. So, Chris, would you say the plot of this movie made any sense?
Well, the plot is basically the characters have to find a thing, to find another thing, to find a character who we thought was dead.
So, in other words, there's not really much of a plot.
There's no plot.
Could you say the plot itself is fan service?
You mightn't be saying that.
Let's start with the opening scroll, which is basically a diarrhea of words.
I laughed out loud when I first saw it.
So instead of having an interesting sort of scene where there's a reveal of what we thought was a dead character being alive or present, they just simply put it in the diarrhea that is the opening scroll.
They thought that was good enough, yeah.
That's mistake number one.
It's even worse than the opening scroll of Revenge of the Sith. Roar! Because remember I laughed out loud when I saw that.
I think one of the biggest rules of film, as a lot of directors and writers would say, is show, don't tell.
Don't tell, yeah.
This is the ultimate example of why show, don't tell is important.
Yeah.
Because they basically use this shitty opening scroll to tell you about the Emperor being alive. That sets this up as maybe one of the, not just one of the worst Star Wars movies, but just a shitty movie.
Yeah. Even before like the terrible no re-recording in the special editions.
Right.
Vader's like noble sacrifice meant nothing.
Right.
I have died before.
That's scary stuff, isn't it? Well, it's not really that scary.
So there you go. The movie is introduced in a terrible way. As you pointed out, there's really no plot.
There's no plot.
It's mostly about fan service. So why don't we just skip the plot? which we know it's about what you said. Try to
So-
find something that will help you find something, which takes you to the broken Death Star, which, by the way, blew up into many shrapnel, tiny little pieces of nothing, and yet there's this giant Death Star that we see in the movie.
Well, not only that, but this like dagger that.
Wait, the
they're looking
Wayfinder.
for-
The Wayfinder.
No, that's different. The Wayfinder's in the remains. That wasn't.
Oh, I thought the
Pulverized.
knife itself was the Wayfinder.
No, the knife tells you how to get to the Wayfinder.
I don't give a shit.
Meanwhile, the Death Star wreckage has been shifting in this ocean for like 30 years. How does that dumb dagger still point to the exact location then?
Wayfinder's there.
And who cares? It's just stupid.
It's so dumb. Yeah.
But
that's part of like the J.J. Abrams like mystery box.
yeah, but the problem with J.J. Abrams, so in this movie, let's just get into the fan service beats, because that is the movie.
The fan service is the course correction for the backlash to The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's course correction making people happy, but it has nothing to do with a cohesive plot
No.
or
exactly.
through line.
And I can't understand why people thought that would make people happy.
I have no idea.
Well, I do, because some people were happy when we saw this in 2019
Oh, I remember what happened. We were walking out of the theater after laughing.
in the Uptown.
Yeah, we saw it at the Uptown in Washington, D.C.
Unfortunately, the last film I ever saw at the Uptown.
We get out, the lights come up, we stand up, you're like immediately like, holy crap, what a bunch of fan service. And immediately this like 18-year-old kid like looks at us and goes, and thank God for that. Or something, obnoxious. He was immediately annoyed with your comment because he liked the fan service.
You liked it, yeah.
He liked it a lot. And I'm guessing he didn't like The Last Jedi that much.
Probably, yeah. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? It doesn't matter. He was
It doesn't
just-
matter because this entire like sequel trilogy is a fucking mess. Oh my God, Chewbacca's dead. One of the most beloved characters in the franchise, dead. It's a big deal. Just kidding. Chewie was on a transport that we didn't see, one that didn't blow up.
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends. Memory restoration complete.
Just kidding. R2 had 3PO's memory backed up the entire time.
Lando Calrissian returns.
Wookiees stand out in the crowd.
Billy D. Williams,
You mean the 82-year-old cameo?
who can't get out of like the chair.
Just leave him alone.
Just let him like be retired.
Han Solo's memory. Harrison Ford made a surprise return as a memory to his son.
Can we also mention that Harrison Ford did not want to cut his hair
He
for
didn't-
that ghost
He
appearance?
He couldn't be.
I'm not gonna cut my fucking hair.
He couldn't
alright?
be. He couldn't.
He cannot be bothered to cut his hair.
No, not inconvenienced for that.
By the way, is Han a Force ghost in this?
You mean the fact that he's not? He was never using the Force.
He's never using the Force, but he appears.
But he
like,
appears as a ghost.
as a ghost.
Doesn't matter.
Why? It does matter.
No, what I'm saying is it matters to you because you're thinking about this as a writer, but you're not remembering that this is just a piece of shit fan service project.
Yeah, true.
The Luke Skywalker's Force ghost. Yes, he's back. Jedi voices. Rey hears the voices of dozens of people.
Did she?
Including Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen, Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, Yoda, Frank Oz. Wedge Antilles apparently made a return in the veteran X-Wing pilot from the original trilogy, played by Dennis Lawson, makes a quick appearance piloting a ship during the final battle.
Great.
Did you know Wicket the Ewok, Warwick Davis, was back?
Yes, because that goes into like J.J. Abrams' misunderstanding of the way space works.
The story and the narrative callbacks. You ready for this? Rey is a Palpatine.
That's one of the worst like things that this movie did, actually.
Say it.
They were nobody.
They're filthy junk traders who sold you off for drinking money.
I liked that about the Last Jedi, is that Rey was nobody. The Force is democratic. It's like anybody can tap into it. One thing I don't like about the prequels and now apparently the sequels is that it's all midichlorians. You have to have midichlorians in your blood to be a Force user.
So why did they introduce, though, in the first movie, Why did they introduce that she had this interesting mystery backstory?
Because that was J.J. Abrams' like dramatic crutch to like introduce the mystery box. Here's the intro with mystery. I don't care how you resolve it.
That's not, you know what though? That's not, I don't blame him. Why didn't they take that somewhere in the second movie?
They like that's what Rian Johnson did. He's like, no, she's the offspring of like just random people.
Then why did they have that thing where they showed like flashbacks of her being like taken to the planet and left there or whatever?
That could have been like her drunken parents that did that, you know?
I guess.
This is for you.
Chewbacca's medal. Yes. One of the worst this might, for me, be the worst fan service of all. Oh, right. He never got a medal. Oh, people have been pissed about that.
Well, not only that, it's like this character that like we don't know who she is, Maz Kanata.
Oh, right.
And she also has like,
oh my God,
the Anakin Skywalker
the lightsaber. That's a story for another time.
A story for another time. And then she also has like Chewbacca's medal.
What would have been really funny, by the way? What if someone went, Chewbacca's medal? And she went, that's a story for another time. That would have been funny. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
She's just known for saying, that's a story for another time. I'm not going to talk about that. Okay. Palpatine's unnatural line. That's where the resurrected Palpatine uses the same line to manipulate Kylo Ren that he used with Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. Where,
who cares?
I know, exactly. They fly now. This is where Poe Dameron utters this line in disbelief.
Lines. Yeah. Yeah.
What scene is that?
Oh, they fly now!
They fly now?
They fly now!
So that's terrible.
Leia told me that she had sensed the death of her son at the end of her Jedi path.
There's also the fact that there's this like Luke and Leia flashback where he's training her, but who cares?
Really bad like CGI too.
Yeah.
I'm Rey.
Rey who?
Rey Skywalker.
Rey Skywalker ending where I'm a Skywalker. Great. Okay. I think that covers all the beats. And you know what? I think here's what I'm going to say is the worst for me, the worst part of this film. How the hell are we supposed to believe if it took 25 or 30 years for the Death Star to be built and to be all powerful? When did they have the time to build how many goddamn ships that have the power of the Death Star? Like, how did no one notice this?
J.J. Abrams has to explain his dumb mystery box. That's what this movie is.
That's supposed to be the big reveal, right? That's the threat? Oh,
yes.
Holy crap!
Right.
Yeah. It's so dumb. So dumb.
There's a scene where like they ride these dumb horses.
What?
On the Star Destroyers. That's how dumb this is.
Yes, it's totally dumb. It's way crazy. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't even care anymore.
And this movie isn't dumb in a fun way.
No, it's just bad.
Yeah.
I am all the Sith.
And I...
I'm all the Jedi.
Do you recommend this film?
No, I do not.
Do you recommend this movie to viewers who might want to watch a shitty movie and laugh?
No.
Oh, you just hate this movie.
I tried to watch this again. I could not get through it.
So it's not even a fun movie to watch because it's shitty.
No. You know what is a fun movie to watch that's bad? Is The Phantom Menace.
Ha, word.
I agree. And I don't even know if I hate that movie as much as I used to. Hate is too strong of a word for that movie. How about this? We grade the Star Wars films, starting with the very first, right?
Which first?
The very first.
You mean Star Wars?
That's where the fun begins.
I give Star Wars an A.
As do I, yes.
I give Empire Strikes Back an A+.
Yes, that is the apex of this franchise, for sure.
I am going to give Return of the Jedi a B minus.
D minus, yeah.
Well, you'd agree with that, okay.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
That takes us to the prequels. I give The Phantom Menace, I used to be really hard on The Phantom Menace, but here we go. I'm going to give The Phantom Menace a C minus.
I'm going to give it a D.
Okay, that's fair.
It's still a bad movie, but it's a fun bad movie.
You'd say, boom to gasser, then crash into Buster's hay blibber, then vanish.
Attack of the Clones, I'm going to give a D minus.
That was my worst film in this entire franchise.
Until.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a D minus.
Oh, you're agreeing with me.
I used to give it enough.
I didn't expect that.
I'm going to give it a D minus.
All right.
I heard they even tried to amend the Constitution so you could stay in office.
I was relieved when my 2 terms were up.
Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to give it a C plus.
Yeah, it's a C. I give it a C.
You give it a C? All right.
It's got Lucas's worst tendencies as a writer and director.
But it had more story going on for it.
Well, that is like the story that Lucas wanted to tell. And for some reason, he thought it could have stretched into like 3 films. It still has terrible dialogue. And
not as bad as Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Attack of the Clones was way worse.
She's dying.
We don't know why. She has lost the will to live.
By the way, she didn't just die for some medical reason. She died because she lost the will to live.
To me, like, that might still be the worst thing in this entire franchise.
Okay, that takes us to, here's where we're going to be different, folks. I give the sequel trilogy, I give The Force Awakens a solid B.
I give that a C, a solid C.
All right. I thought you might have graded that a little lower.
It did what it needed to do, is like reinvigorate the franchise after Disney bought it.
But it was a rehash,
It was a complete rehash.
But it had the original cast, and it had a decent new cast.
Having the original cast, what did that do? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. That's not true.
The
there was a big death scene in it with Han Solo.
So?
Solo. Get it?
Yeah.
Garbage chute? Trash compactor?
The next movie is where it gets really interesting. There are people, and you were one of them, that would give this movie initially when it came out in the theaters like an A minus. I actually give The Last Jedi, I give it like a B minus.
Yeah, I give it a B too. The problem with The Last Jedi is it wants to be bold and like subvert the structure of like the Star Wars saga.
I think that's fair.
But it actually doesn't actually do that.
But it's not just Rian Johnson's problem. That was not a well-orchestrated arc, as we talked about in the beginning.
Right.
Who are you? Because you're a Palpatine. Leia knew it too.
That takes us to the last movie of
the Skywalker saga.
Yep. Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, is truly...
It's the worst.
It's an F.
Good.
Is there anything good? Anything? Any remnants that you could like just pull out of this shitty movie and say, this wasn't bad?
Maybe the actors? They actually did a decent job with the shit they were given.
That's a good point, actually.
By the way, haven't mentioned CGI Carrie Fisher in this film.
Oh, God. It wasn't all CGI, though. There were some legitimate...
It's all deleted scenes from The Force Awakens.
Okay. I did not know that.
I think you can tell like how badly inserted she is into like certain shots.
You're saying they also used CGI. Okay.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the Pink Panther series after Peter Sellers died. Yeah, Blake Edwards did a couple of films that were cobbled together with deleted scenes and alternate takes and stand-ins. They're so bad.
To Inspector Clouseau. Chief Inspector. That felt good.
Right. How does that have to do with Star Wars and Rise of Skywalker?
Because that's the same thing with Carrie Fisher. They tried to recreate her after her death.
People wanted to like remember her in this last film. I get it. Well, I guess the question is, how do we end this?
I think we should stop talking about Star Wars.
Yeah. Then let's stop.